like this without a link and hope that it doesn't start just babbling again. It usually starts in a couple minutes. I hope you guys can find me. I don't want to abandon it on anybody that was coming to chat. So I got out and came in again, and I deleted that last link, even though it's on Facebook. So I hope you guys can find me, because I just put up the link I thought was going to work on Facebook again. I don't know what is happening with this. It'll start like all of a sudden I'll hear myself talking what I said a minute ago. Like it's playing the playback. And then it'll keep doing it the more I talk. So then all of a sudden it sounds like CB feedback. I turned off my Bluetooth. So I'm hoping, maybe that fixes it. I hope this hasn't been too confusing. This might be my first live where nobody shows up because people are looking for me at the broken links. And if I go out to delete the links, then it's going to kill this stream. At least if I had Glenn here, he could message people or go on Facebook, my wall, and say there's a technical issue. I hope you guys can find me. I'll turn on the light anyway and go outside. And I'm not going to give up on this in case people are coming. I'm going to sit around and wait. Oh, there's somebody found me. Somebody found me. Somebody's here. We got one person. Whoever that is, sorry about all the confusion. G's Diecast. Okay, G. I don't know what happened or if you've seen the last streams, but the first time I went on, it was scheduled for 9. All of a sudden, a couple minutes into it, I'm waiting for you guys. I see you show up. And then all of a sudden, I hear my own voice. Hey, there's Nate. You guys are finding me. Okay, so what happened, Nate and G, was all of a sudden it started playing my own voice, like a recording from the live I was doing, stuff that I already said. And every time I would go to talk, I'd say, okay, if anybody can see me comment or whatever, it would start saying that stuff. So it started sounding like a bunch of CB, like it sounded like I had a CB radio on with a bunch of people talking over each other, but the voices was my voice. And it sounded like me just walking over myself. And then I went out and tried it again, and I put up that link. I said, okay, this one will work, and it did it again. But this time I turned off Bluetooth because I bought a new set of wireless speakers since the last live. So I thought maybe it's got something to do with that. So I turned off the Bluetooth, and as I turned it off, I heard all the feedback going away. But it was so weird. Oh, you heard that, G? You guys were able to hear that on your end? Because what I did, I should have left the links up so we could watch it later. Because I deleted them because I didn't want you guys, because I was posting the links, I didn't want you guys going to the link I posted because I told you to go to it, and I'm not there. I just got here, so I didn't see it, but seems weird. Yeah, it was on other streams. I started the stream at 9, Nate, and it started doing it, and yeah, poor G was following me to 2 different streams, and it was doing that. So I kept saying, okay, sorry guys, I'm going to get off. And the bad thing is I just posted to YouTube saying, okay, sorry, there was a technical difficulty. This link will work, and it's another one that's broken. So I don't know how many people will show up tonight. Hopefully they see this. You guys did, so. Yeah, that freaked me out. Yeah, that I was wondering if you guys could hear it. The only thing I could think of is it had to do with the Bluetooth interference, because sometimes Bluetooth does weird stuff. And yeah, as soon as I turned it off, it started going away. Like the voices were disappearing. It was weird. It was like a room full of ghosts talking, and they were being pulled out of the room as soon as I heard I turned Bluetooth off. Hemi Nate, did you see that Maisto that I unboxed last night? Woo! I actually brought it out for you guys. Gee, I didn't hear you mention that you were after one, but I was thinking you probably have the original licensed one like what I have. But those rims. When I got my licensed Ertl, the first thing I said is, "Oh, those wheels look a little bit off." I love it to pieces because it's the licensed Bandit car, but my first glance at those wheels, I said, "It's not right." And then this one here, as soon as I seen it, the wheels grabbed my attention, but for a good reason. I was like, that is wild. Like, I can't, like, it doesn't have the CB, it doesn't have the CB antenna, but this is something that would pass. Like, because you know, most casuals, if they walk by your shelf and that's on your shelf with a Bandit figure, they're not going to say, "Oh, that's not the right car." Like, it looks so much like it. They did a beautiful job. I can't believe that. That's probably one of the best Maestos of all time, and if not, if it's not, it's the best one of the year for sure. The next one, I'm gonna be doing a Maisto truck. It's an old black Ford Ranger, but it's a full size one, an F-150, a '79, I think, and it's black, and it's got the orange graphics on the side. It just it takes you right back in time. I can't believe they nailed the graphics like that, actually. Looking forward to that. Yeah, that's what I sounded like on my end. It was so weird. Like, so weird. By the way, Giuliano, when you came by earlier, sorry if I seemed out of it. What happened was this morning at 10:30, I woke up, felt great. I took my medication, which is Adderall, which I don't usually take on my days off, right? Because it gives me energy, but I had stuff to do today. And man, did I get a lot of stuff done. But when you came over, like, I was covered in sweat, had no shirt on, and then suddenly Glenn says, "Oh, G's gonna come by and pick up a car." And I was like, "Oh, shit," because I was all disheveled and everything. But no, you're always welcome here no matter what I'm doing. But I just wanted you to not to think that I was acting funny because I didn't want you here or something. It was just because I was running around getting stuff up. But I got tons of stuff done today. I only have a 164. Would love that. Oh, I thought that you had. Gee, I thought for sure you had it. We're gonna have to work on getting you one of these then. Because either you could be okay with just the way it sits, or knowing you, G, you're like me that you'll make little alterations. Like, under the hood, it's all black, but I got that chrome paint pen recently just for stuff like this, because I'm not an expert painter, you know that, but I could do like the battery terminals, just little stuff like that. It's the whole reason I got that chrome paint pen. But man, yeah, gee, we're gonna have to get you one of those. I thought you just weren't interested. That's why you, but maybe Glenn probably only has one or two of them. Maybe he's keeping them. But yeah, now that I know that you want one, I'm gonna work on that for you. It's such a great diecast for. Oh, Max, I'm gonna explain to you since you just got here. I explained it to these guys. Something weird happened with the stream. I'll make it quick because I don't want to bore these other guys. The first stream, I got on it at 9 o'clock, started talking to you guys. I saw G show up. As soon as I started talking to G, all of a sudden there's a voice talking over me. And I said, that's weird because nobody else can talk. And it was my own voice. And every time I would say something, it would add my voice talking over the other voices. So it sounded like a bunch of CB traffic, but it was my voice interrupting each other. It was weird. So I kill that stream, start a fresh one. I'm thinking, I hope people can find me, right? I put up a link saying this one will work. And then it did the same thing again. And what I did for this, because I just got Bluetooth speakers, new ones, wireless ones, just cheap ones. But I know Bluetooth does weird stuff sometimes. So I turned off the Bluetooth. And as soon as I did that, it went away. So that is weird. I want to thank Glenn for the great deal today for M4G. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I will thank him. He's at his Dodge meet, but he might be back anytime because we're doing a live, but I will let him know. And you know what, G, I had a conversation with him when you left actually. And yeah, he told me about that, and I told him, good job. I said, he's one of ours, you know what I mean? Like, and he knows, and he did well, and I thanked him for you as well. But yeah, I'm gonna let him know, and yeah, when you see him again, you can thank him as well. Um, Glad you figured out. Yeah, Max, big time. Big time. It was so weird because it's never happened before, and that's why I put the two and two together with the Bluetooth. Hopefully, I can find the black Trans Am at Costco. You know what? I'm not positive. Maybe you might want to research this when I'm done. I thought that if Sam's Club got a car like the Sam's Club exclusive, they meant the color of it, and now Costco will get this car, but it'll be in a different color. But I could be wrong. But if I am wrong, I'll try to help you get one. I'll see what I can do to help you get your hands on one. Because yeah, it's definitely anybody. Uh, I don't want to say it beats the Ertl because for the fine details, the Ertl's a premium, right? But for shelf sitting, it's right up there with the Ertl. Like just looking at it on the shelf, the way it looks. Like I think I'm gonna get the decal plates off eBay. Easy upgrade for that. Is Costco carrying the Maestro? Not right now, G. It's just across the river. Yeah, Costco, it's usually the end of October when we get them here, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's only at Christmas when we get them, but Sam's Club seems to get them all the time or different times over there. Are Sam's Club and Costco same company? I think they're very similar, but I'm not positive. You know what, Max? That's something we might want to Google because I wouldn't be surprised if they are under the same umbrella. Because you know how things are now, like Tim Hortons, Burger King owns it 1 minute, and then somebody else, like it's. See, you never know. And now, yeah, wow, P, everybody wants to Facebook message me now. It's funny. Justin just messaged me. I haven't been to Costco in the fall since that month. I saw nothing. Yeah, they come. They're supposed to get them for Christmas time, but they start getting them around the end of October. How I clock them, Nate, is I'll start watching when people post them. Not only on Marketplace, like you'll see a big influx on Marketplace, but you don't want it to get that late because then you're gonna get there late. But I watch the Canadian 1 of 18 scale diecast group, and I watch other groups. And as they're coming in, guys will post to be helpful. They'll say, "Oh, Victoria, British Columbia, Costco got them." You know what I mean? Um, but I know the one that I go to, which is usually Stony Creek, is usually the end of October and November they get them. And it's supposed to be for Christmas, but they get more than one batch. I know that. This year we got more than one shipment. We didn't get the blue Charger. I had to farm out to Dave to get me one of those. We got a bunch of other. This year we didn't get very good ones actually for Christmas of 2023. I didn't think our Costco got many good ones. The year before we got a bunch of good ones. I got a couple of Ferraris, I think it was. There was a bunch of good ones there. Max, is there an antenna that can be purchased? You know what? That would have to be a custom job, but somebody recently asked me. I had somebody message me, a viewer on Facebook, and he said, "Hi, I watch your videos." It had went to my other inbox, but I found it. And this guy said, "I ordered a silver screen General Lee, and sadly it came with no antenna." First thing I did was told him scour the box, because I said sometimes it's hidden in the plastic, whatever. He said it's absolutely not in the box. I found on eBay, because we're in the age of 3D printers and all that other stuff, I found on eBay a guy that was selling, it's meant for a 1 of 18 plastic model. But he had it on the back of his 69 Charger and it worked. And it was a CB antenna, a replacement one. Or whatever, like it was one to add to a model. So I sent it to him and he ordered it and it actually worked perfect. So yeah, it doesn't come with an antenna, but it's something that can be easily worked around. Like you can, it doesn't have the hole in the roof for the antenna, but you know how I would attach an antenna to that? a little bit of that putty. You know the putty I tell you guys to use to make your resin figures stand up without falling over? You put a little bit of the putty. It's stick tack, they call it. You could put a little tiny bit of that under the antenna, and that would make it stick and stand on, and it wouldn't hurt the paint. So that's a way you get it to stay on without gluing it or making it permanent. Or you could somehow try to make it magnetic. But yeah, Max, we could find antennas for these for sure. I haven't looked on eBay yet, but like I said, it took me 2 seconds to find one for a General Lee. And the reason I knew about that is because you guys remember when I picked up my General, it didn't have the antenna. And the seller mentioned not running the vacuum cleaner lately. Like he said, oh, I don't think my, and I got real nervous. It took a month, but I got my antenna. But I had started shopping around because that car I could not have without an antenna. Like it needed the CB antenna. So yeah, I found that and I just kept it in the bank, you know what I mean? And then somebody asked me and I was able, they were still available like a year later. So I sent the guy the link. And he got back to me and actually said the antenna arrived and it worked. Thank you. It looks great. It has the little, it looks like a K40 on the bottom of it. Yeah, it looks like a pretty realistic little antenna. So I could show you that stuff, Max. I could send you the link for that, whatever. But yeah, if you don't have a Bandit car, Max, this beats the crap. I'm sorry, Greenlight. I love you. I love Greenlight, guys. Don't get me wrong. I love Greenlight. But this beats the crap out of the Greenlight Artisan. Nothing opens on it. Or if anything opens, maybe the doors might open. I don't know. But Artisans are known, most of them are known to be sealed. You guys seen the Roscoe car I had of Glenn's. It has opening doors, but the hood doesn't open. Something like the Bandit car, you gotta have the hood to open. Like a cop car, it doesn't matter. Daisy's Jeep, I could live. Like the Artisan Daisy's Jeep, I'll get that. It looks great. I don't care if the hood opens or not. But something like a muscle car, you want the hood to open. And yeah, I think this straight up beats the Artisan one. Because the Artisan one, I don't think comes with a CB antenna either. I don't think it does. The Starsky and Hutch doesn't. And I know that's why I wanted the Ertl one, because when I first started collecting, I said, oh, I want the good one with the CB inside and with the antenna, the Starsky and Hutch car, and that's what I aimed to get, and that's what I got. But the Artisan Starsky, the paint looks beautiful on it. And one thing that they got right that the Ertl didn't get right was the positioning of the Ford on the front of the car. On the Ertl, and it's not just my Ertl, it's all Ertls because I looked it up, it's way too high on the hood. Artisan got it bang on. But I still would rather the Ertl over the Artisan for sure. But yeah, this, for what you pay for it, this beats, in my opinion, beats the Greenlight. Like if you offered me the Greenlight Artisan or this, I would take this. I would save that money and buy a whole other car with the money I saved. Like that's how good this is. That's how, like I said, I think it could be the best Maisto made yet. Like that's how into this car I am. I can't stop looking at it. Now the Ertl Bandit, like I said, there are differences. The Ertl Bandit doesn't have the nice flake in the paint. Now to be honest, guys, I don't know if the Bandit car, I'm trying to get it at a right angle. I don't know if the Bandit car had that nice flake in the paint or not, to be honest with you. I just know this makes it pop. Like, if I had a choice to take the flake out if it wasn't right or keep the flake, I'm keeping the flake. And this bird on the hood looks a little bit smaller than the Ertl too. And I remember old school collectors complaining that that was one mistake the Ertl made, was that bird on the hood. A lot of guys took that off, bought proper decals, and fixed it themselves. And I'm wondering, I got to look into it more, but I'm wondering if they got that bird right. And Ertl didn't. Like I'm so impressed with those wheels. Sorry to go on about it, guys. Did you get the caddy for me? Oh, that will be G. So the people are coming here either July 1st or July 2nd. They're coming to Stony Creek. And I messaged them Friday, actually, from work. And they said it's still tentative. It looks like we're coming. I'm gonna keep you posted. They 99% sure they're coming. They just don't want to tell me for sure they're coming and it doesn't happen or something. Luckily, it's only over in Mississauga. So worst case scenario, G, if they don't come this weekend, next weekend I'm going to get it because I want to get it going. Like, you know me. And I'm very interested to see your work too, my friend, because of what made me ask you, G, is your little. It was almost like a hidden room, a hidden vault in your house, and it had your little nook in the corner, and that's something that I envy because it's a place that you could just go and just drift off and do your models. And that's kind of what I loved about my toy room when I had it. Like every morning when I woke up before work, 2:30 in the morning, I went in that toy room, had my Pepsi, woke up, spent time every day in it. Yo, Rowdy Bobby. Hello, Bobby. How you doing? We're all just in here talking about the new Maisto 1 of 18 scale Trans Am and the awesome job they did on it. And the beautiful wheels that they did. And how it could be easily made. Well, it would pass now as a movie car because most casuals aren't going to pick it out and say that's not accurate. Oh, Mr. Cowie, the owner of the museum, pulling in. And we're going past 10 tonight, guys, because this is late. If you guys can't stay, it's okay. I just want to give people, late stragglers, a chance to come say hello, whatever. But you guys never feel obligated to come or stay past when you want to stay, but you guys know that already. Here comes Glenn right now. Anyway, our numbers fluctuating. It's funny. We got 3 people. It goes from 3 to 5 to 3. But that's cool if people are popping. And I hope not too many people went to that other link. Because what I did is I took my original post down, put a second post with a second link that was faulty, that wasn't supposed to be. And probably sent a bunch of people to the wrong spot. So I'm glad you guys found me. Glenn is just pulling in his truck from the Dodge meet. So I will be able to thank him for you in a second, G. Yeah, he goes... It's a bunch of guys that own Dodge Rams. I shouldn't say a Dodge meet, it's a Dodge Ram meet. And it's guys like us, only they're into Dodge Rams. And they talk about upgrades and lights and tires and all that other stuff. Only they go live. I wish we all lived close together, because this would be a cool Saturday. Go stand in a Timmy's parking lot or whatever. If we all live close enough. But that's basically what they do, because they all live close enough. Did you order bullhorns for Cat? You know what, G? When I end this tonight, I'm going to order those. I still have to order a couple other things, so tonight I'm going to order those bullhorns. Thank you for reminding me, actually, because I completely forgot. I will get the ball rolling on those tonight, the bullhorns. Max. Oh, I get one. Oh, I got the 177 for the Johnny Lightning Generals. Oh, there you go, buddy. That's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. Like if I get a card that's not the card that I want the most, I call it a placeholder. And it's holding the place of the card that I want the most. Hopefully I get it someday, but if I don't get it someday, I still got the placeholder. That's okay. Like Glenn's Artisan Starsky and Hutch card, that was a placeholder for his Ertl. I told him, because he had a chrome Starsky, like an Ertl chrome chase Starsky and Hutch. Like, not the green light stuff, the real deal chrome chase, he has one. And then he had above it, he had a green light Artisan, which it didn't look bad if you were walking by looking at it, but I said, buddy, we got to get you the good one, because you got the chrome chase. It's kind of his sin. I said, I'll even make it so you don't got to pay for it. And that's what we did. We sold his Starsky Artisan one and used the funds to get him the Ertl one. And it worked out perfectly. And that bugger gets lucky because I paid $125 for my Starsky. And we got his for like something crazy, like $75 or something nuts. Anyway, it's happened. I got him his Crazy Mary Dirty Larry for $125, and I paid double that for my own. Just on the live here, Glenn, if you want to come out and say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'll be there in a sec.
Glenn, oh, you probably heard him. He said he's going to come out in a minute and shoot this shit with us. Tell us how his night went. Nice deal, Max. Oh, yeah. So what we did is we set him a goal, Nate, for... I told him that he doesn't want to pay any more than $300 for a silver screen General Lee, which is the best. So obviously, the American Muscle ones and all that, the guys that are asking 400, 350, they're on glue because you can get the best for 300. So we set his goal and we found him one. I sent them the link and it was actually a little bit better because they included 164 Ertl, like the vintage cars as well. Like they weren't on card, but they threw in other stuff. And it was mint in the box. And he got it for his goal price. So then what he did is he made the mistake a lot of us do, Glenn included, me included, is he didn't know about the silver screen at first. So he seen a General Lee one day, got excited, bought it, and then he realized, like a lot of us do, that there's a better one. So what we did is we strategized. He sold off his other one that he didn't love as much and put that money towards the silver screen, which plummeted the price of it. And that's awesome because, and in my opinion, you only really need one version of it anyway, right? Unless it's like you got a chase and the regular version or whatever. Oh, Hemi Nate, hi Glenn, Max, hi Glenn.
Hello, everyone.
Nice bonus, yeah, buddy, for sure. Yep. Glenn says hello, everybody, and Glenn, G had a message for you earlier. He wanted to thank you on the stream here because you gave him a great deal for the cars.
No, you're welcome. I hope you enjoy them.
Yeah, he mentioned it in the comments. He said if you were here, he wanted to thank you for because you gave him a really good deal. And I said, well, yeah, we talked, and he knows you're in our circle, right? Yeah, and he's awesome like that. He's like me, so. I can't, sorry guys, I can't stop looking at that Maisto. I can't believe Maisto made that. Like the wheels on it and everything. Nate, you're probably going to get one of these for yourself, I imagine. Oh, something weird happened, Glenn Max. Has suppress arrived? Yes, it did. It just arrived 20 minutes ago, actually. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to try it out because I got sample, like, not ones I'm going to use, but sample, like, cheap hat and cheap shirt. Like, just crap quality one. And I got cheap transfers, and I'm just going to make sure everything's good. Yeah. Because I'm not going to collect people's money and then something goes wrong, right? But you understand that because you know how I am. I want to make sure everything's perfect before, I'm critical of everything for Christ's sake. So
I'll take everyone's money, double it, and then take off.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like there's a
Rat man.
There's a Facebook group. We're not going to mention names or anything, but G probably knows about it. But there is just a word of caution. But there was a diecast Facebook group. And it was one that did raffles, and it was a Canadian group, and the guy was based out where it's cold, we'll just say that, out towards Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, out that way, all right? And for a couple of years, he ran the group fine, and he was doing raffles, and it was high-end stuff, like cars that are out of my league and Glenn's league, right? Like stuff that was just... some of the cars were $800,000, like, and beyond that. And he always had good quality stuff and built up a reputation of being a straight up honest guy. And then all of a sudden there started being problems. People were not getting what they won in raffles. And a lot of people started talking, and it turned out that it was a whole bunch of people. And right away, I smelled something. I said, there's something up. Like, luckily, I didn't send this guy money, but I said, there's something up. I messaged G and a few other people, actually, and I said, if this guy has your money, get it back. basically whoever I was close to. It was when I lived in the apartment building. I messaged him and said, if this guy owes you money, get it back because he's on dope or something. I could tell because he was going in the group late at night with these big long rants, and it was knocking people that wanted their money because they had waited a year at that point and had nothing but excuses. But this guy kept raffling more stuff, and people were sending him more money. That's what blew me away. Like he owed thousands, but people were kept giving him money. Um, but he ended up disappearing. Anyway, the group went, like, I guess he disappeared from the group. He owes thousands and thousands of dollars. And I think this is just a guy, I think he turned to drugs. Like those rants that I seen on his Facebook where he would lock it so nobody could comment back and he was just lashing out at everybody he burned. Totally cocaine fueled, like 3 a.m. just ranting, you know what I mean? And yeah, as soon as he started doing stuff like that, I said to Dave, actually, who I'm pretty close to, I said, this guy's on dope. I said, this is not going to turn out well. And yeah, true, and sure enough. And then somebody Googled his name, and nothing came up with his name, but his girlfriend's name came up. Like, and she robbed a gas station or something like that in the town that they live in. So yeah, definitely something happened, and I think he went down the path of drugs. Maybe he was an addict that was clean, and I hate to say it, fell off the wagon because it could happen to anybody. But yeah, just a word of warning about the internet. You know what I mean? I don't even know where that came from, but I think Glenn mentioned something, or he mentioned a guy with a group doing that, collecting money. Sorry, I gotta catch up with you guys here. Mac, so much for watching your channel grow and the clever ideas you're coming up with to make the channel more entertaining. Snoop makes me laugh every time. Oh yeah, that's why I do it, just to kind of make things a little bit different and interesting for you guys. I'm glad you guys don't think it's dumb. At first, I was using Donald Trump, but I'm not into politics at all. And I had a bad feeling using him. Not that I'm completely neutral. You know what I mean? I don't follow him and don't not follow him. But I didn't want people. Well, I didn't want people getting the wrong idea because I'm not into politics at all. And I didn't want people seeing that thinking, oh, he's a Trump supporter, I hate him. Or, oh, he hates Trump, I hate him. You know what I mean? I didn't want people getting the wrong idea. It was literally just a free app where you can use celebrities, and he was the free voice they gave me. That's the only reason Trump was used. And then, right after I used Trump, Morgan Freeman got unlocked. I was like, damn, if he was unlocked, I would have used him. But now I use Morgan and I use Snoop and I've even used Eminem before. But yeah, it makes things fun. I could put music behind him and everything. I don't know if you guys caught it when he was insulting me in the video last night. He said Retro better not be on opiates again. And then at one time he apologizes to you guys. Sorry if I sound like I'm on opiates. I've been up all night talking about diecast. Yeah. I sneak little things in that are funny just to see if you guys will catch it sometimes. Sorry about my shiny head. I just got out of the shower. Just trying to read what you guys are saying. So you're watching the game, G. Is it done yet? I gotta get back into, I'm losing touch with my fight world, boxing and MMA. I keep hearing about fights I want to see after the fact. Like after they're done. Manny Pacquiao is talking about coming out of retirement, and I love Manny Pacquiao, and he needs to stay retired. He's an animal. He's an 8-time division. He's got nothing to prove, but he's not just calling out people that box, like up-and-comers. He's calling out killers, and he's my age. Like, to put it to perspective, guys, Manny Pacquiao, if you look at him and the shape he's in and that, he is my exact age. Like, I think he's a couple months older than me. So, put that into perspective about Manny Pacquiao. I love him. He's a legend, but he has nothing more to prove. I think that he should just enjoy his life and his money. He doesn't need money. But the thing with him is he's big amongst his people, so he probably like boxes for money to help his country. So I can understand that. I just don't want to see him get hurt. Because the last big fight he had, I can't remember who it was against. It was against a guy, and I had a bad feeling about it. And my gut was right, because he got, yeah, he lost. He lost by points, but he still looked good. Like, he looked great, but yeah, he ended up losing. Yeah, if you can't beat Father Time, it's undefeated. I believe that. Max, have you seen 42 to 1? It's a documentary on Tyson Buster. Oh, you know what? I don't think I've seen that one yet. That might be something I watch tonight. It's probably on YouTube, because every night when I'm falling asleep, I watch documentaries on YouTube. There is one that Max, and even G, if you're into boxing, I think you're loosely into boxing. G would remember this, and so would you, Max. There's a documentary on YouTube about an incident that happened in boxing. It's called Assault in the Ring, and it's the Luis Resto Panama Lewis scandal. What happened was, there was a fighter by the name of Irish Billy Collins that was an up-and-comer. He wasn't a champ or anything like that, but he was an up-and-comer. He was undefeated. He had a bunch of fights, and he looked good. And he was tough. And he went up against like a journeyman, like somebody that wasn't, like somebody that was meant to elevate your career. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody that wasn't expected to win. And all of a sudden, this guy was beating the face off of him, literally. Like, he was looking terrible. Like, he was getting really badly injured. And it turned out that he had plaster of Paris in his boxing gloves. And the trainer was named Panama Lewis. He got banned from boxing for life. He's not allowed, like, I guess he still works loosely in it, helps coach people and stuff. But if there's a big event, he's not allowed in the building. Or if he's allowed in the building, he's in the spectator seats, because he's blackballed. But that's, and it didn't kill that kid, okay? But after the fight, he looked like was beaten by 5 guys, right? He ended up going on to commit suicide because it damaged his retina. They told him he couldn't box anymore, so they took away everything he worked for, right? And he ended up drinking himself to death, basically. He drank himself into an oblivion one night, and he beat up his friend that was trying to stop him from doing this. And he drove out in his car and drove it off the side of a ravine with his friend in the car with him, and he died, but his friend lived, I guess. But yeah, it's and both of those guys went to jail that were behind that for they didn't do enough time, I don't think, because that was scandalous. That was probably one of the worst things in boxing. Yes, I saw that. Unbelievable. Hi, Nate and Max. Hi, Wild the Hedgehog. I didn't even see you there until now. And Wild the Hedgehog, I'll make it brief, sorry. Earlier we had major technical issues with the streams. I'm not lying. G watched it. I was on here and it kept recording what I was saying and putting it over top of what I was saying now. And every time I would say something, it would add my voice on top. And it sounded like a bunch of CB traffic with my voice just interrupting each other. It was weird. Like G said on the other end, I sounded robotic. And I'm looking at the screen, and I'm not wanting to say anything, because if I say anything, it's just going to repeat it on me. But then I started trying to find out, like, is anybody here, blah, blah, blah. So then I end the stream, I get a new one up, I take a link that I think is going to work, and put the link up, say, okay, guys, sorry, we had a technical problem. Here is the working link. I go on, and it does it again. But what I think it was for the future is I got new Bluetooth headphones, and I think somehow they were interfering with it. I turned the Bluetooth off on the phone, problem went away. Now, was that the problem? I don't know, but it happened 3 times until I turned the Bluetooth off. So, might have been something completely, might have even been YouTube, the internet, who knows. What part of Canada is where Canadians say, oh, I say A. I say A all the time, eh? I think we say A everywhere here, my friend. I think we all say A. Um, yeah, it was very sad what happened to him. Like I said, the guy didn't kill him, but he may as well have because he ended up, doing what he did related to depression caused by that. Like he lost his retina and his boxing career because of that. And it wasn't when he was old; it was during his prime. So that was terrible. I don't know another thing about boxing. I don't know how many of you guys are into it, but Deontay Wilder got absolutely floored a couple weeks ago by that. It was an Asian man. I don't know his name is, but I can't remember his name. But he's a slugger. I've seen him slug a couple other guys out. But yeah, he got Deontay in the corner, got him tripping over his feet because Wilder's got horrible foot. All Wilder had was this. His footwork and everything was horrible. He was a horrible boxer. But anyway, he got him in the corner, tripping over his feet, Wilder, and pow, got him. Put him on his, staring at the ceiling, out cold. Yeah, I think he's pretty well done. I don't think he should be boxing anymore, at least not top rank guys anyway. I have a Canadian flag for my collection. Very interesting history. Oh yeah, that is awesome. I have an American flag downstairs, actually, somewhere. I gotta get it out. I have an American and a Canadian one. Where exactly, whereabouts are you from, Wild? What state are you from? What's the weather like there? A lot of us in the chat here are from Canada, but we had Bobby earlier is from the States. I don't know if he's still in the chat or not. He came and said hello. There's a few of us from the States. Somebody else there's a lot of you guys from the States that watch me, actually. Most of my viewers, I think, are from the States. I think a quarter is in Canada, half is in the States, and I think a quarter is in the UK and somewhere else. I think it's something like that. But I have a big viewership in the US. California. So I was just asking you how the weather is, thinking, oh, are you out of winter time yet? Whatever. That is a place I've always wanted to see because I watch it on television. I see the landmarks in the movies and stuff, and that is a place I've always wanted to go see. I remember even the movie with the Nintendo with Fred Savage in the 90s. I remember them traveling to Vegas and the kids saying California and them driving and the dinosaurs out in the way out. Yeah. It's funny because the child now in that movie, back then, I know now the child had autism because my daughter has autism. But back then, they didn't mention that disability. I don't even know if they mentioned that he had a disability in the movie. Now they would mention it just for awareness. Yeah, California, I don't even know which place I would like to go first, but just everywhere. And not to mention the weather. I'm not a big fan of winter. I come from 8 hours north of where I live now. Like, the weather here is like Florida compared to the Arctic with Sault Ste. Marie, where I'm from. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and it's a border town. So we have a Sault Ste. Marie in the States as well, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. That's where I'm originally from. Maybe one time you crossed the border there even, who knows? But up there, you go 8 hours north of where I'm at, where I come from, and the winters up there are just brutal. It's right in the middle of the three Great Lakes. And it's,
yep, I've crossed there.
Yeah, it's brutal. The Straits of Mackinac, you go across that bridge. I remember back in the 80s or 90s, a small car got blown over it into the water. A woman driving it, she ended up dying because it looks almost like the Golden Gate Bridge, not the Sault Ste. Marie International one, the one over the Straits of Mackinac. I don't know the name of it, but back in the 80s or 90s, if you guys Google it, a lady driving, I think it was a Yugo or something like that, in a storm, got blown over the side of it. And ever since then, if the winds are too bad now, since they know that's possible, they shut it down. How many different places around the world you've seen? Oh, I've been all over Canada. Do I have a Confederate flag? It's what? Oh, yeah. No, I'm familiar with that, buddy. I don't, but I would. I would. And not for anything negative, but just because it's related to General Lee. Just because when I see that flag, I think of the Duke boys. You know what I mean? Personally, I think people that are relating the Duke boys to anything negative like racism, I think it's crazy because when I was that age watching it, there was no racism. Like, you don't even know what racism is. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up from a small town that there was two black families in. It had 70,000 people when I grew up there, and there was two black families. One guy is a friend of mine. He's on my Facebook. His name is Troy Bonterre. He went on to play professional rugby, I think it was, but he's on my Facebook. Heck of a good guy. But I can't even imagine growing up as that much of a minority. Because, yeah, he grew up in a place where it was, and back then it was a lot different too, right? Now, my family used that as a way, like I hung around Troy and it was cool because he was the first, a black person I'd ever integrated with, become friends with. And I asked him questions as a kid because he was a kid too, right? Like I asked him questions and I asked him about his hair, stuff like that. And I learned a lot from Troy. And I'm glad that I was able to learn a lot because then sooner or later in my life I had to move to the big city that was like a melting pot, right? But yeah, I couldn't even imagine the challenges that that poor guy had to go through way back then. I didn't think of it as a kid, but wow. But yeah, I don't think of the Confederate flag, anything like that. Sorry to go into a whole different thing, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I shave my head so I don't show my gray hair. And in fact, I've got to do that again soon. But I shave my hair so I don't have to comb it and so you don't know I'm gray. I don't shave it for any other
Or
reason.
just spray paint your hair.
Yeah. Well, no, there's people in the past that because
Yeah.
I have a shaved head and tattoos thought that I had a certain look. Like I've
Yeah.
had people say skinhead and
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like, I'm a skinhead, but not the traditional one that hates people. Like I don't
Yeah.
hate anybody. So it's just a style thing with me. My black friend is from New Orleans, wears a Confederate flag, one piece. See, that's awesome. Like, he doesn't look at it the way a lot of people are looking at it. Like, he's a lot more. And I would go out and hang out in public with him. You know what I mean? Like, and I wouldn't be embarrassed about it. Like, it just shows that it doesn't bother him. You know what I mean? So I don't know why a lot of people. But then again, you know what? I'm going to stop speaking on it because I don't know. I'm not well versed in a lot of the history. Okay, like so I shouldn't be talking on. All I know is that when I was a kid, when I seen the show, I didn't see anything racist. I didn't see.
You really even seen handguns in the show.
Yeah, well, bad guys
Even.
would have them, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty wholesome when I was a kid. And yeah, I'm glad that you realize, Wild, that I'm not that way.
And rarely were they ever fired.
I have your. Have you seen John Schneider's customized General Lee style? Oh, I've seen John Schneider's, the Bow General or Bow's General, it says on the top. If that's the one you're talking about, I've seen it. It's all souped up. He opens it up and it's got the breather under the hood and that. Yeah, I've seen that. If it's the one that says Bow's General on the top, yeah. And you know what's funny is he explains, he gets people, believe it or not, that complain to him and tell him that his General Lee is not screen accurate. You know how he explains it? He says, it's my car. It's not meant to be screen accurate. It's how I want it. Like, of course it's not screen accurate. It says Bow's General on top.
Mm-hmm.
But people actually are so ball breaky that they actually ball break Bo Duke himself about his car. Like, can you imagine that? Like, the nerve of that. It's Bo Duke, you know what I mean? That's like ripping Hulk Hogan about wrestling, you know? He's a legend, come on. Just getting out of frame, guys, to have my pain relief. Not cigarette, pain relief. Actually, it's funny. My lower back, it's the lower back that got me all screwed up on the opiates, the hydromorph prescription. But the lower back, since I took all the weight off, has been a lot better. Because I'm not lugging around. I was 240, right? Um, that's one of the things that helped not only my ankle but my lower back. I haven't had to get the injections in my back. I used to have to get big needles. My back does not act up. Believe it or not, my back injury, guys, I have a back injury that I can go all day at work, heavy stuff all day, and it doesn't bother me. You know when it would bother me? Put me behind the counter at Max Mart or a convenience store, 7-Eleven, where I have to stand in the same spot all day. I'd be screwed. I couldn't do it. But you put me on the end of a jackhammer, I'll do it all day. But that's how my injury is. And the funny thing is, my back actually was sore the other day at work for the first time in a long time, my lower back, because the chairs at the infusion, they have these chairs that you sit in. They try to make it comfortable for you because you're there for hours. The legs come up, but the back of the chair doesn't recline at all. So you could put your legs up, but you're sitting up like you're like a V. And after about, like, I don't even use the reclining part on it because that just kills my back. But by the time I leave that place, I'm ready to leave because I'm starting to get sore. And then, yeah, plus I was beating up, like I was on the forklift before I went there. No suspension on it, stuff like that. And then went and sat in that chair all day. Woof. Doesn't bother me at work slugging, but like I said, just little things like that. There was another time it acted up with me and Glenn when I was trying to drive. I did drive to, where was it, Glenn? Barrie? Yeah.
When you got your car and I got the cars from Tim.
Yeah, the bullet car I got, and the guy, it's in the video, he shows he's got a Mustang under a tarp, actually. It's a cool video when I went and got the bullet charger. But my back acted up bad then from sitting in the car that length. Like it got to the point where I asked Glenn a couple times if I needed him to drive my car if he could. Like it was that bad. But luckily, it's not an injury that prevents me from working. It's quite the opposite. If I was sitting around not working, it would start acting up. And glad you found something that helps you with the pain. Oh, for sure, buddy. And you know what's funny, Max, is when I was taking all these pharmaceuticals before, like I've been on, smoking weed since I was a teenager, right? But I didn't do it for pain before. Um, Back when they were first talking about legalizing it, not a couple years ago, I'm talking about decades ago, like 15, 20 years ago, I didn't think it would be legalized because they'd have hippies, yo, legalize it. And I said, it's not medical use. Like, I didn't believe it. I thought it was a crock of baloney. It was when I was off work for my ankle that, believe it or not, Diane used to hate me smoking weed, okay? When I was off work for my ankle, it was her that suggested it. Said, well, it's legal now. Why don't we go by the store, one of the stores, and grab you something? And that's what we did. And it helped. Like, it actually helped. I couldn't believe how it helped, actually. It not only helps pain, but you know what it helps more than pain? My swelling. Because sometimes Diane used to look and say, oh, your hands are swollen, and that my hands would get swollen, or joints on me from arthritis, right? You could see if it's going to rain and that I'd start swelling up. I don't swell like that anymore. My ankle used to blow up on bad days. It doesn't do it anymore. Like it helps a lot with inflammation. And like I said, when I was a young man, I thought I knew everything and I thought that was all baloney. I thought I had it all figured out and I thought they were just trying to scam the system and that weed has nothing to do with anything medical. And boy, was I wrong. Because it's one of the reasons probably I'm not on those pharmaceuticals now. Because I definitely would need something for pain. Did I miss anybody here? I'm sorry. I hope I wasn't just yakking and just bored you guys to death and you're sitting there corpses in your chairs. But I still see I have people here, so it fluctuates up and down. People come say hello and then leave again, and that's cool though. Does your company cover the weed? No. You know what's funny, Max, is I have excellent benefits. That's one thing I have through my company. Weed is not covered. As far as I know, I looked into it. Maybe there's a certain way to do it or something. Maybe there's grants or something you can get for it or something like that. But I got excited at first because I said to Diane, with my ankle, I'll just get a prescription from my doctor and I won't have to pay for it. And then I looked into it. No, you got to pay for it. But if you're using it for medical uses, there's places called compassionate clubs and you can get it for way, way, way cheaper. But I wouldn't want to be taking away from people that got cancer and stuff because that's what the compassionate clubs, that's what I think about is people that are dying. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, it's if it's recognized as a like a medication, I think it should be covered. But the sad thing is, a lot of stuff, it seems like a lot of the most expensive stuff, if you don't have benefits, the stuff that helps you most, you can't use it. Like I remember the first time I got my Sublocade injection in my stomach, they were checking to make sure my insurance was good and running the numbers through. And I said, well, what's the problem? I said, is this an expensive shot or something? Well, you know, it's $670 a month, so we want to make sure that your insurance. What? $670 a month? Like that's for one needle that I get. And when I started taking that, and I still started taking it, there's 3 different doses. I take the lowest dose of it. $670 a month. How do you justify that? Like it is so if somebody that helps people quit drugs, okay, to stay sober and stuff like that. If you're an addict, you don't have $670 a month. Like you're not gonna have benefits until down the road when you've got your life together. You know what I mean? Like there's holes in the system that need to be fixed when it comes to that. But that's a whole other matter. Yeah, like that's it's another thing too. I remember when I was calling around trying to get clean, because I wanted to get clean. Diane would be in bed late at night, and I would just be in despair. Like, I'm done with this. How do I get off this? I'd be about my second day off the pills at that time. Before the sickness would be hitting me. And I would go online late at night and type in, drug rehab near me. Like, I would search and I would get places and I would email them and tell them about myself. And they would say, okay, yeah, no problem. We'll help you. The programs start at $6,500, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I don't have $6,500. How do people get sober then? Sadly, I had to overdose to figure out how to get sober. The first thing I said when I was talking was, please give me resources to get help. And it saved my life, that overdose, as crazy as it sounds, because I could not, the information is just not out there. It is. But the stuff that you see when you Google it is the sponsored ads, the ones that are paying for the advertisement, and you got to pay thousands to get in there. Like, I think the ones that are free should be pushed. But it comes down to if you want to be clean or not. And it's like I had a long talk with my drug doctor, drug psychiatrist, whatever you call her. And I told her, I said, it's a war. Like when I try to talk to friends and talk to help people, this is war. Like, because people are not going to, it's either they want help and they want to get clean or they don't. And it's sad, but you got to step over the bodies and help the ones that want it. Because it's war with this stuff, with fentanyl and stuff. It is life or death. And it's sad, but you gotta help the people that want help. And it takes stepping over bodies to do it. But people have to want to get clean. And luckily I wanted it. I was tired of the way I was living. I never stole from anyone. Went to work every day, but I was broke as a joke. On payday, 2 minutes after my paycheck went in my account, I owed money. Like I was broke all the time. And I was either high or I was sick as a dog. There was no in between, and I hated it. So there is anybody that watches this down the road, because these live streams go up as videos. There is definitely help out there. You just have to find it before it's too late. If you want help, you know who you go to? Go ask a health professional, not one that's like not some nut that runs his own private clinic. Somebody that works at the hospital, their own doctor's office, somebody that's paid by the government. Ask them, how do I get clean? Because that's who helped me, and it worked. Like one shot deal. I haven't had a single relapse, not once. Knock on wood. But yeah, I don't even know where we got into that. Sorry about that, guys. But do you consider weed a gateway drug? You know what, Max? No. I used to wonder about that because as a young, you know what? I can't say no because it depends who it's for. Because when I was a young man, it was 100% a gateway drug because I started with this. I was 100% a gateway drug. So I would say it's a gateway drug depending who you are. I don't think weed's for everybody. And I think that you should wait till you're a certain age before you start using it because I believe, and not to sound like I'm joking or something like that, I believe I fried my brain a little bit when I was younger because your brain's not fully developed. Okay, and I was smoking this stuff when I was 13 years old, and you're not developed yet. You know what I mean? So I believe that when you're doing that, you're stunting its growth. I could be wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, they've never given me brain scans and stuff like that where they've checked that stuff out, right? But, yeah, like, I've always wondered if that's where the memory problems come from, ADHD, you know what I mean? Although ADHD, I was diagnosed with it as a kid. But yeah, Max, I've got to be honest with you. At first, I snapped out and said, no, it's not a gateway drug because it's not to me. I'm sitting here smoking it and I'm not going to do any other drug. We got a fridge full of booze because me and Glenn don't drink. Like, we buy alcohol for the barbecues.
3 weeks.
And none of us even get drunk. Like, we might get a chatty buzz or whatever. Dave will go, everybody will go home, whoever's here, and it sits here. Like, we had booze from last summer. And I, believe it or not, as a young man, I was a drunk. And I could be a nasty drunk. And it was a drunk to where I was, if Friday came, Saturday came, and I wasn't drinking, getting loaded, I was moody, very antsy. I was very moody, very antsy. So yeah, I was addicted to alcohol too, and by the grace of God, something happened to me. I don't know what it was. Well, you know what it was? It was fear because I saw my father most of my life had a problem with it. It runs in my family. I had an aunt that died from alcoholism. I had grandparents on my mother's side. A grandparent died from alcoholism. I think that's who died. It was either grandfather, it just alcohol is in my family. Luckily, I have one brother that I'm sad to say he has an alcohol problem, but my other brothers don't. We've broken the cycle. Um, so yeah, and my father broke the cycle too. The last 20 years of his life, he wasn't the way he was. Like basically, he had a heart attack that really changed his life when he was not that old. Like he was late 40s, I believe, not much older than me. And it was a wake up call. So he stopped drinking, stopped smoking. He started smoking years later again, like a dumbass, but he quit smoking for a very long time. And it was a wake up call. And he would drink, he would still go out once in a while and get drunk, but it wasn't like, every night of the week except 2, I knew he was out drinking. Like it wasn't like that anymore. It was a once in a while thing. Like as he got older, with me, part of it, what it is if I get drunk, I feel like crap for 3 days now. And I think it's because your age catches up with you. Now, if I get a buzz, I'm drinking water. That's my trick, eh? I tell young people, you don't want to get a hangover, drink as much water as you are booze and stay away from the mixed drinks. Because we used to go to the bar and drink, 20 mixed drinks and wonder why we feel like crap. You're drinking 20 glasses of pop. Sugar mixed with booze. Like people don't realize that causes a hangover. My buddy's son, I think it was my buddy Gary's son, told me one day, "You're right about that." I said, "Yeah, I know I'm right because I used to get hangovers that were so bad I couldn't hold anything down when I was younger." I was the guy at the party that wasn't having fun until I was puking passed out at the end of the night. Like I was one of those guys. But yeah, now I don't got it's out of me. It's just out of me.
And my biological father, he was a useless drunk.
I have good night, G. Oh, good night, G. Sorry
Good
about
night,
that. I
G.
just noticed. Glenn says good night as well.
Have a good week.
Congrats on breaking the cycle. It's hard to. Yeah, it is. It is. I grew up, Max, with a mother that I guess before I remember and long before I was born, my mother, well, my father had a reputation, I guess, when he was younger as not only somebody that would fight anybody on the block, but he was a hellraiser. And my mother, to get with him, she had to be somewhat complicit with that as well. But from being with my father all that time, she was dead set against drinking. And she, if, like, when I was of legal age, and I treated my mother like a queen, she told me if you have one drop of booze, just don't come over. Like she couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand the smell of it. And she was worried, I guess, that I would turn like my father, which would never happen with her, right? But yeah, I always respected that. I don't think my mother ever actually, you know what? She did see me drunk when I was very young. When I was 13 years old, I got caught drunk when me and some friends got into liquor. Um, but yeah, as an adult, I don't think my mother, when she passed away, didn't know I had tattoos. That's how much I loved and respected my mother. When I seen her, I would wear long sleeves. And I remember right before she passed away, um, I slipped up and went in the hospital. I had my sleeves rolled up, and she was like pretty drugged up. And she said to me, and she was all oh, that's not a tattoo on your arm. And I just rolled no, mom, you're just seeing things. And she forgot about it. But yeah, my mother did not know I had tattoos. That's what a mama's boy I was. Um, I got to go, guys. Oh, yeah, okay, that's G. Okay, and guys, I think I am going to wrap it up here now as well because it's getting late. Yeah, I've been on here over an hour. I just wanted to make sure that because we started late, I wasn't gonna tell you guys 9:30 and then be like, okay, it's 10 o'clock, guys, we're done, because that's cheating, you guys. Yeah, so that's we have a good unboxing coming up. I was thinking about doing a live unboxing tonight on the live, but Glenn wasn't here, and I'm gonna do it with him here. But it's for that beautiful Maisto with the black truck with the graphics on it. We're gonna do that. We're probably gonna film that tomorrow. So, and as Max already mentioned, retro collectibles T-shirts are in the works. I'm gonna be pushing for sizes big time in the next couple days because I'm gonna be ordering the shirts. So I'm gonna be needing sizes. I know right now I'm got ideas on how many you guys want shirts and stuff like that, but as the next couple days go on, I'm gonna be putting a list for sizes. That way I could record the sizes, so when I make the order, I could say 5 2X's, 3 mediums, 4 larges. You guys know what I mean? So yeah, but there's gonna be more batches as well. So if anybody misses this batch, there's gonna be more batches. Have a great long weekend, gentlemen. Thank you very much, Molly, and nice to see you here. Sorry you're just showing up when we're going to go. And I really enjoyed it tonight too, Max. We touched on a lot of different subjects. And thank you, Nate, for coming. It's you guys that make these streams. If you guys didn't show up, I'd be sitting here talking to myself. So it's you guys that make these streams. Thank you guys for coming. So yeah, guys, anybody wanting shirts, I'm going to be putting up plenty of information about them, so don't worry, you won't mix out. Max, do not worry, it's in the works very soon. Like the machine got here half hour ago, literally. Okay. So, okay, guys, actually, that's why I'm going to get off, to go actually start looking at that. I have been here for the whole time. Oh, sorry about that. You know what? I think that because people aren't commenting, they're not there. But we probably had more people than I thought was here. Yeah. And the cool thing about these, they actually turn into a long form video after they're done. So, so people can watch that mixed it and see what we talked about. But yeah, we talked about collectibles and we talked about sobriety and being careful buying stuff and how a guy that a lot of people trusted for a long time ended up burning a bunch of people, and you got to be very careful. So yeah, that's not going to happen to me, because I'm sure if you guys seen me act, put it this way, you guys would know if I was on dope. You would know it. Because before I go, I'll just say this. When I was using, most people that use opiates are me. If I was on them, because I think it's because of my ADHD, it made me feel like I was on my best. Oxycontin, perks, solid fentanyl, I would talk your ear off. You guys would end up shutting me off tonight. You guys would end up saying, okay, Retro, have a good, because I would still be 100 miles an hour. If I was using dope, you guys would 100% know it. And one of my friends that mentioned my weight loss, the only friend that said me using came across his mind of my weight loss, what made me feel good about that was he said, the thing was though, he goes, me and Amber, who's a friend since high school, he goes, when you're on dope, you don't come around and stuff like that, and you're not in contact with us. He goes, we couldn't figure it out because you were still coming around, and when you were coming around, you looked and were acting normal. He goes, the only thing was the weight loss, but he said you were not acting like you were on dope at all. I said, well, thank you. I said, but I understand why they would cross his mind, because my friend that I just mentioned comes from a similar background. So if he all of a sudden over a year lost 100 pounds, it would cross my mind. I'd actually pull him aside and say, dude, we got to talk. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't blame him for thinking that. But it made me feel better when he said we couldn't figure it out because you kept coming around our house and you would hide from us if you were high. So anyway, guys, thank you for coming. This was a great chat. I agree, Molly. It was an awesome chat. We
Hi,
touch on a
Molly.
lot of stuff, and Glenn says hello as well, Molly.
Thank you for the cookies. They're great.
You just heard that. You guys can hear him, so
Still
I don't
eating
gotta
them.
reiterate it. But Glenn is still eating a couple cookies. He loves them. Those were, I told you what I thought about them. Mine were gone right quick. So, but yeah, guys, we will touch base very soon. And Max, I know that you're very curious about the shirts, so I am gonna up. You might be in bed tonight, but I'll send you a message tonight and let you know how things are going tonight. And that way, if you're up, you could see the message, but if not, you'll see it in the morning. And you know what's up. Okay, guys, have a good night and be safe this long weekend. If you're going to have a few drinks, that's okay. I do it once in a while too, but don't drive your car because there's cops everywhere. You could kill somebody. Don't drive your car if you're not sober. Period. You'll get caught, lose your license. Even if you don't care about human life, you will eventually get caught, so don't do it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Don't drink and drive this long weekend. Have some of this and sit around and enjoy yourself, maybe. And have a good night, and I will touch base with you guys again soon.